It's time to get back to the Gear Me Circus. I swear every time I go over a new Direful Doll card, Bushiroad decides to give us a couple more. So today, we are looking over the past and future of Direful Dolls, because not only did Bushiroad give us a couple new actors for the Gear Me Circus in the next set, but one of my orders from 50 cards just came in because I had to pre-order the manga promos, and look at, we have Yuna. That's not the important part, but we have Yuna. The important part, finally got silver for the red line. So the deck's fully pimped out now. So make sure you stick around after the card reveal because I have yet to go over my set 5 variation of Direful Doll standard deck, as well as, I guess, a couple new cards. We're in set 6 now. That's where we're in the future. It's the present. The past is the time travel. Time Gear Chronicle, Pale Moon. That's the entire point of the deck. Scene transition. So we got 2 new dolls to go over today. The first one we're looking at here is Direful Doll Altrea, who is a grade 1 rare unit. Looking at one big skill here in the fact that when this unit boosts, if you have a grade 3 or greater Direful Doll in its name, choose up to 1 card with Direful Doll in its name, he drops it in, put it into Soul. Then this gets +5 until end of turn and gets bound afterwards. Once again, this follows the theme that we saw with the promo, which video in the up wherever, and that this essentially combines a couple of old cards into one. We're essentially looking at Liberata and Plagia's skill to put a card back in Soul after it does a thing, in combination with literally any card in this deck's ability to gain power and then bind itself. This does still face a couple of the same issues that the deck already had. Number 1, every important card in Direful Dolls says you gotta be at grade 3, so still doesn't function for the first few turns. That's nothing new there. And number 2, the fact that this is essentially our replacement for Plagia, if you look at it that way. No, it's not. Plagia has +10 shield. Plagia guards like a trigger, and that's like one of the best parts about that card. So, I mean, I guess if you want to run more Plagias, there you go. I like a little mouse ears though. Moving on to doll number 2, the one that you probably clicked on this video for because she is a double rare and therefore she's doubly good. We have Direful Doll Concertata, who has a giant spiky hammer and looks like Little Red Riding Hood. This is nice art, nice art. Got 2 skills here. First of all, as use place on rearguard from hand, you check your top 5, choose up to 1 Direful Doll, mug them, put them into Soul, shuffle your deck. I'm literally going to go over this with the promo that's in the deck and the promo that we just got once again. You just place it, check top 5, soul charge a card. Good. Been done a bunch of times. Can we get something new, please? I mean, like, consistency is good. Having more cards doing the same thing to step your engine is good. But if your entire points in the deck is to do something that's already being done, why you double rare? Oh, and I guess more importantly, the fact that she's grade 1, so you can just like do it turn 1. You don't have to wait till turn 2, and you don't need a counterblast for it, and it's not an order like the order, so that's kind of good, I guess. Let's see what that second effect does now, shall we? When your other rearguard is bound during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Direful Doll, of course. Cost, bind this unit, choose 2 of your units, they get +5 until end of turn. Okay, so this is interesting. As you may or may not know, basically any Direful Doll that is worth their salt outside of the Ride Line Grade 2 essentially has the ability to bind itself, thus activating Androld Sama's ability in order to, you know, guard with it and get extra shield and all that fun stuff. Her being able to bind other Direful Dolls actually does... No. She doesn't. She just, when anything's bound, she binds herself. I guess it could be good in combo with the Lavenza swing where you're just gonna be binding a column anyways, or just Vanguard booster or whatever, but feels weird for her to bind herself just because everyone usually binds herself for a purpose. Her bind herself is to give 2 things +5, so I guess like in sequence, this could be okay if this is boosted on the first attack. I'd want to have her as a booster because it says when another unit gets bound. If you chain this on your first attack like a Lavenza or grade 1 for the Ride Line, have her be boosted by a freaking Plagia or something, basically anything. This looks like binds itself. You're able to give 2 things +5. I guess you +5 the Vanguard and then something else, or if you are in Lavenza, you can +5 thing that Lavenza calls out. There are definitely things that you combo with this, and I mean, that's part of what makes one of the cards I'm going to talk about in a second really good, but I'm just trying to figure out where there's room for you. I guess we'll do a little bit of a spoiler on theory crafting, and that right now the deck is the way it is, but I think in the future, we're looking at potentially running 2 to 3 copies of everything just because of the consistency of this deck, because of all the searching, and because of that, you could definitely run just a variety of dolls just to activate the same thing over and over again. I can see the potential here. We'll have we're definitely gonna have to cook with this. Make sure you guys subscribe to see whenever I do a proxy fight go live, because I am definitely putting off some cheats with this, and we're gonna cook. But of course, that's just the future of the deck, so let's go ahead and take a look back in time to the now and see just what Direful dolls can do. Because I owe you guys a deck profile. It's been literally since like last year since I gave you an updated deck profile on the Gearman Circus. So set 5 build, here we go. I know we're in set 6, but it says right here, set 5. Gearman Circus, so it's the set 5 version. Shut up, there's like maybe one new card in the deck. And of course, we are going to be posting a decent amount of stuff for set 6 deck profiles and testing videos, so if you want to see all that stuff go live, you know what I'm going to say. Hit the little subscribe button. We're over 300 now. Thank you, everybody. If you want to help financially support me on this channel so I can do more stuff, check out my page on TCG Player or drop me a tip on Ko-Fi. Alright, so getting into the deck itself, of course, ride line is the same as always. When you ride over the grade 1, you check top 7 for $2 to put in Soul. And when you ride over grade 2, you're able to call her out as a free unit, in addition to her on-call skill to Soul Charge a doll from your hand and give herself and the Vanguard +5 while drawing a card. I mean, Androld's Vanguard. Do we really need to go over him again? Call some cards up to solely equal to your opponent's current grade, and if you call at least 3 drive check, and whenever you're attacked, you're able to take 1 doll from your bind zone and guard with it with increased shield. TLDR, this deck is about using every single zone as part of your extended hands from the bind to drop to the field to the soul, and basically utilizing all those cards to use his ability and call things out of soul, getting board set up, and guard from the future. Very tanky, very peaceful line deck. It's Shoji Doji before Shoji Doji or Shoji Doji. Looking into some of the new cards that I've never covered on this channel, we have the promo that I've mentioned like 3 times already. Tarquina is a 3 of in this deck. I tried her out at 4, but I found that, like, once again, the whole 3 copy piece is fine. I'm gonna have to move a lot of these girls to 3 copies of. On place, counterblast 1, check your top 5 for a doll and at the hand. Consistency. Enough said. This kind of goes into, once again, the new promo we're getting and one of the dolls that we just talked about like 5 seconds ago. Same effect. Really good. Also kind of doubles up with when you ride over your grade 1. Then, of course, she sure is a Direful doll, so when she attacks, if you're grade 3, you can give her an extra power up and then send her to the bind zone. Not bad. 20k is decent on her own if you go first, and once you're in combo mode, you should be having boost on it when it matters, calling it out, this, that, and the other. Basically everything that I'm going to say from now on. Keep in mind this is a combo off your multi-attack engine. Keep in mind this is a combo off of anything that you boost with, and the fact that you're going to be constantly persona riding and giving each of the dolls extra power. You hit numbers pretty easily without really doing anything. It's kind of the point of the deck. Then, speaking of new cards that give power-ups, we also have for Bartholomew, who is like, I love this. One of my favorite new arts. Just the hat and the rocket hammer. Heart emoji. But what's more heart emoji is her ability, and that is the fact that at the end of the battle that it boosts once you're like grade 3 or whatever. Just assume that all these cards I'm going to say that if you're grade 3, because that's when the deck functions. But then you can bind another normal unit. Notice it does not say dolls, which is kind of because you can't cheat out your triggers, but there's other cards that do that. Other normal units. Of course, you are going to be wanting to hit a Direful doll for obvious reasons, but if there's any reason that we could bind other stuff, that is a possibility. When you do that, you're able to send her to the bottom of the deck. Countercharge 1, if you have not countercharged yet, we have a countercharger now. Ignoring the +5 that she gives a card, I mean, like, she gives +5 to a card. We have a Direful doll countercharge. This is huge. Of course, going back to the main card of this deck, Androld does cost 1 CB to operate. In addition to that, you have 1 Counter Blast on Tarquina to use that skill, 1 Counter Blast on Best Girl for her draw skill, and I think that's about it for in terms of CB, but the point of the matter is that this deck does go 3 Counter Blasts a decent amount, so it's super good to have this ready. That said, she goes bottom deck, which kind of sucks because it makes her limited in the fact that you can only see them at the end of the game. JK, this is the reason I care about Tarquina. Before I started testing this card, I looked at this, I'm like, yeah, whatever, just another top 5 searcher. It's good, but that's what the ride line does to get you set up, and you should be set up pretty easily in this deck. The most important part of this card right here, you get to this part right here where it says shuffle the deck. That's how you make Bartholomew good. Why am I going this way? The fact that she bomb decks means that you never see her after you play her, so you have to be able to use this shuffle in order to, well, shuffle your deck and see them again. That said, the new girls, let's go ahead and take a look at what's not broke doesn't fix. In terms of getting more counter charge, we are also running 2 copies of the Carbuncle. Realistically, you should never really be needing this thing because of Bartholomew or whatever, but double up as a nice big shield, which is always nice. And it does suck a little bit to get rid of your Roundline cards because unfortunately you do want to make sure you have every doll ready at any point in time just in case you end up missing on some of your combo pieces. There's 3 Direful dolls in Soul right there. Realistically, 98% of the time, unless you are just like the best person at whiffing, you will have 5 to 7 other Direful dolls in your Soul at any point in time. Especially now that I got the deck made on Dear Days and I've been testing it out, and oh my god, I actually read the Soul numbers that you make in this deck. Fight me, Dear Days vids coming soon if you guys want to like do a Discord or something. I don't know. Comment down below if you guys want to see some fight streams. The important part is this doubles up on your counter charge and doubles up on the fact that this deck is a tank, so you get a massive shield if nothing else. I wouldn't really recommend using the new Carbuncle guy because that just looks for 1 whole card in this deck. And I mean, if you're not using them for the CC or anything, you can just run more Direful dolls. So, Dog War, 4 best girls, because Liberata is a 23k beater that lets you recycle a card, that lets you draw a card, and like it's we love Chainsaw Lady. So basically, the really cool thing about this is it's on place to Rearguard or Guardian Circle. Once again, the effect of your boy Androld, you're able to give your dolls a +5 shield in the guard. So she does effectively guard for 18, which ain't nothing to sneeze at. I mean, most of the time, you'll guard with anything else if you actually want to guard, but the fact that she activates as well when placed on Guardian Circle and when placed on field, your drops no longer matter. If you're in the guard step, just guard with pieces that you want to go in Soul. If you're in main phase and just like setting up board, feel free to call over your filled circles, because once she comes out, just put it back where it belongs. Like, this is the card that keeps you as a well-oiled machine. The fact that she's a 23k beater that lets you draw a card optionally is just icing on that cake. Of course, for partner in crime in the refilled Soul Squad is Plagia, like we talked about before, who essentially says after she moves, put her in the bind zone and take 2 cards from your drop zone. Right back in Soul. Solid, solid, solid. I love to just like try and open one of these and then discard any 2 Direful dolls for the ride line. By the time you get to turn 2, you just feel this. All resources back. Ride line was free. Congratulations. In addition to that, she is also a +5 shield, which inclusion of Androld's +5 shield as well makes her a 15k shield. She guards just like a trigger. So really good if you need those numbers. Usually I can say like this plus a normal trigger in hand is a no pass on most non-giant numbers. This keeps the loop going. Just gotta make sure you know the pieces. That is the one big brain thing of Direful dolls, is you have to know all of your plays 5 turns ahead of time. Towards the ride line stuff, we have 1 extra copy of Serenella, because why not? Since she is a 13k attacker after all that binds herself, and 2 extra copies of Griselda, the ride line grade 2. This card is insane. The fact that its on-call ability is able to soul charge a doll from your hand and give herself and the Vanguard +5 in order to draw a card. This gives you potential setup if you just have dead cards in your hand and you want to get ready for Androld's ability. This gives you early game aggro, and the fact that you're able to suddenly burst up your numbers while drawing a bunch of cards. And well, it sucks that you cannot bind her off normal ability. That's what Bartholomew's for. Long and short of it, this is a 15k attacker that lets you filter draw a card while setting up your soul, and it helps you a lot with early game aggro, which helps a lot since most of the deck is an online till turn 3. Then of course the best piece for last, we have Providenza here as a full 4 of this. Grade 2 is the multi-attack engine of the deck. With Energy Blast 3, after she attacks, she's able to bind herself and then replace herself with a Direful doll in your soul with a different name. So essentially you just use this as your first attack, boom, bind her away, set up whatever your next play is, and then go from there. Typically you're going to be hitting at least 1 of these per turn because she does cost 3 energy, which is your energy for a turn. However, if you do have the extra spare and you do have the setup, you get a 5 attack turn that's pretty nice. Once again, all these things combo with each other. So like, do this, get out the new promo, shows your top 5, adds a card to your hand during the battle phase, make a 20k attacker. Do this, get out Best Girl, put another card back in your soul. Do this, call out another Griselda in order to give yourself a little bit more power to hit over the thresholds. The combos are pretty endless with your setup. Once again, this is a big brain deck. You have to know what pieces to run at what points in time. In addition to that, that is a great thing for you boosting with your girl Plagia because they do Q off at the same time. So when you boost with that column, you get like 28 for no reason, making your opponent guard with at least 20k shield, which is at least 2 cards out of hand unless they're running special fronts. And then when you do that, you take 2 cards from drop, shove them back in soul, and if you want to, you can take one of those cards in your soul and call it on out. Bing, bang, boom. That's just your first attack. Then you know if you're good at this game, you have 2 columns of those, so you do it again twice. Of course, your Vanguard needs power too, which is what this girl is for. Torch Spada has an ability that no one cares about because we're not running Asteroid in this deck. But what we are using her for is that ability to bind a trigger out of Soul. But why are we putting triggers in Soul, you may ask? Basically, Direful Dolls has 3 different triggers you could run. So we are, of course, doing that like a good person. And because of that, remember Androld's nice little ability where you get that +5 shield? 20k shield off of a heal or a crits. Or a little bit more off the special heal if you're running into like a stride deck or whatever, so that's why we're on as one of. This makes you even more dummy thick than you were before, and of course it does help out with Torch Spada's other part of the ability, and the fact that when you do bind that card, she gets a nice little +10 boost, making her an 18k booster / attacker. 9 out of 10 times I'm putting this behind the Vanguard, just to make him a 31k triple driving son of a gun. That said, this card is kind of a win more. I mean, it's nice to bind triggers and have that big butt defense, but combo pieces are combo pieces. You need to know when to put cards in the Soul for any point in time for any reason, so it's good. It gives you good powers, it gives you good shields, but sometimes you want to put other cards in your Soul as a priority over triggers. Say that as you will, I think 2 is enough of this. This is probably one of those cards that's going to be eventually rotating out for some of the new cards in set 7. I guess we'll go over the rest of the triggers. I mean, 8 crits, it doesn't really matter. You can remember the list going. I just like using the Gear Chronicle one because he looks cool. Even if the +2 doesn't really do anything for numbers in this deck, whatever, shut up. You can see right above me, I'm not even going to it. I choose to run front triggers in this deck just because you are triple driving every turn, you are drawing a decent amount of cards, you're thinking a decent amount. Without doing much, you are going to deck out, so no need for draws, don't worry about it. More likely you're going to be going Labenza into anything else, so you'll be going rear guard, Vanguard, 2 more attacks after that. Front triggers in that kind of situation. For our over trigger of choice, we are running the classic Galgamega Held. I've seen some people that run red over trigger, or I guess maybe purple now, to get just multiple attacks or recover cards, but I think it's just more important to maintain that critical on the Vanguard, just because this is very much a rear guard centric deck. Your girls are doing all the work for you while the Vanguard is just, yo, I got triple drive, I guess. Always having that crit, always making your Vanguard a threat, it's going to make your opponent guard more. And the more they guard, the more they're vulnerable to your multiple rear guard attacks. Honestly, I just think that's the strat for Darkseid, especially if you hit it early game, you're solid for the whole game, just having a permanent crit. I've tested red works really well, especially because you have a base 5 attacks off of the 2 Lavenzas, so turning that into 6, even better, especially since the 2 of those attacks will be like 10 bajillion or whatever. Same with purple. I mean, 9 out of 10 times you're going to have your board set up, so you won't need to worry about calling an extra card. But healing is always nice since this deck is kind of tanky and you would love using that extra counter blast. Perfect guards. Perfect guard. Regalis Piece is a little up in the air. In this build that I have featured, I am using Union the Sky, the one that's essentially a copy of your grade 2 cycle card Tizca in this situation, which we're not running in here anymore. We didn't set 1, we don't need to anymore. Just another shield. Just another draw cycle card, yay, whatever. I would like to go over a couple of other good options for a deck though, real quick, just because I think these are ones that you optimally want to run, and one is a brand new card. Radiance Caliburn once again goes into the fact that this deck relies a lot on counter blast. You can either put in Soul to counter charge 1 or draw 2 cards. I'd probably be using it for that counter charge effect because once again you are drawing a decent amount of this deck, you don't need to draw most of the time. Other than that, probably the 2 I'd say to go into would be either Twin Cast or the brand new card Fire Regalis. We'll go over Fire Regalis first because it is the new card. Both these cards I'm about to mention can basically be multiple used. In terms of one of these cards, you get literally used twice, and then both of them can be cast from the drop zone. So basically it's just another free discard for the ride line / perfect guard, whatever you want to do with it. Multiple uses, multiple versatility, always good. In the case of Fire Regalis here, you're able to from hand or drop zone remove this card from the game. When you do that, you check your top 5, reveal a card, and if you reveal a card, shuffle your card to do one of the below. If not, draw a card. Cool, you're gonna plus off it either way. If you did reveal a card though, you could basically just call it to Vanguard Circle, so it's just a top 5 call one, because the other ability has to do with glitter decks. Obviously this is not a glitter deck, so just take this card as free usage, not your order for turn in case you want to play an order. Check your top 5 and either superior call a card, or if you don't want superior call a card, you draw a card, I guess. It's good. Helps you get more deck then. And if you don't want to do that, you can just be defensive with Twin Cast, which lets you #1 guard normally if you want to use it, and then from the drop zone you just find it, you get +5 shield for the grade of your attacker. So really good, multiple uses, super defensive. Like I said, tanky deck is tanky. It's really your choice of if you want to be a tank, if you want to counter charge, or if you want to check top 5 animal cards, because what's this deck? Do we deck the deck win? So that is the latest update to the Gear Moon Circus. And I'm not adjusting this, I'm just going to be this close to the rest of the video. What do you guys think? How is Pale Moon doing these days? I'm not talking about Hali. That was another video over there. I'm not talking about Lukia because I don't ever, no, this is this one. It's the one that's part Gear Chronicle. It's the one that's part Nightmare Doll. That's the one that we hear about. All in all, I think that it's in a decent position right now. I'm a little worried about its shield value. Just the fact that this could easily take a bunch of small hits. This could easily survive forever, and like I said, 40 sweet shield for literally doing nothing most of the time. That said, we are in a meta where you get a lot bigger swings than that, especially off of things like Equilibra Scales or like a full-fledged Raziel, Lebedrus, whatchamacallit thing, Majay monsters. So a little scared about the shield value, but outside of that, you really just need one CB to get going, and once you get going, you're good. Go first in this deck. Ignore the fact that you're missing out on turn triple drive. That just sets you up so much more if you're able to just get the engine going as fast as possible. Like I said, if you enjoy this kind of content and want to see more Set 6 stuff in the future, make sure you are subscribed. I've already got like 4 or 5 decks to update off of just new stuff, including Gear Chronicle. You guys want to see something cool? I opened 4 boxes of the set. Bushiroad just knew. That was the Gear Chronicle name. Bushiroad just knew that I was a day 1 Chrono Jet boy. This is secret. I don't know if you can see the This is the secret rare. Here's the hot stamp, you can't see it. But if you guys want to help me open more boxes like this to get more stuff in the future for more deck upgrades, of course check me out on TCG Player Scavenger Games. That's why I sell my own card game stuff. Some new stuff is already on there, unless it's already gone. And if you want to just help financially support me without buying trading cards, make sure to drop me a tip on Ko-Fi. But with all those plugs out of the way, catch you guys next time for more card gaming coaster content. Thank you for watching, and always embrace the infinite. Look at the freaking Yuna. We have Best Girl now. I'm so happy. Thank you, 50 Cards. Not a sponsor. Could be a sponsor if I ever get cool enough. Or JP's current call. Just support both those guys. They're support my TCG player. You already know the drill. Also got some more Shadowverse content coming soon. I want to show off the deck I was going to bring to BCS and like brand new deck I just finished working on. So yes, you saw that. More coaster trips coming soon. Planning coaster stuff. I'll probably have a coaster video coming up live pretty soon. I don't know if you're still watching. If you're still watching after I said the end phrase, comment Taco Tuesday. Alright, see you later everyone.